How many tins of pipe tobacco should you store, cellar, stockpile? We're going to talk about that in great detail today over the latest video here in the Smoke With Me series. This is a series where I encourage you to load up a pipe and share a bowl with me while I talk about some pipe-related subject. Don't get in a hurry. We don't get in a hurry here. Pipe smoking and getting in a hurry just don't go together. But we're going to relax, enjoy a bowl, and talk about how many tins or pounds of pipe tobacco should you cellar. Welcome back, Pipers. Hobbitonpiper Kevin here, coming to you from the Arkansas River Valley in America. We had a lot of snow, half a foot this winter, and then it warmed up, it all melted, and it got warm. We had some warm days, and then it's gotten cold again. So we're gonna have some more cold weather, it looks like. But I wanted to get together with you today and talk about a subject that comes up fairly often. I usually get questions on this every month, with someone asking, Kevin, how many tins should I store? How many should I cellar? And the answer to that is different for different people, but we're going to talk all about it. And today I'm going to be smoking some Capstan Gold, as you know is one of my favorites. And I'm going to smoke it in my birth year Dunhill pipe, red bark, and you can hear all about this pipe in the Pipe Stories playlist. You'll find the video if you're interested in more on this pipe. Your freedom to donate to this channel was unfortunately taken from you recently due to my harmful content, and that's unfortunate, but you can still join our Fellowship of Supporters by using the link in the description below. Every person that you see listed in the end credits at the end of this video has used that website successfully, so thank you so much for your continued support. Let's see if we can get this lit before we start talking about how many tins you should cellar. I'm gonna light it with my I Am Corona Old Boy. I think it's called Chrome Pinstripe. When the wind is still, this is my favorite lighter now. Beautiful lighter. You can find my entire Smoke With Me series in the playlist section, where you can just relax and enjoy your pipe and have someone to listen to that enjoys talking about the same things you're interested in. This Capstan Gold is from 2013. Excellent year. Pipe smoking is a hobby for some, a lifestyle for others, a combination of the two for many. But how much you are able to invest in the hobby is greatly dependent upon your disposable income. Because this is not a necessity. Some would argue otherwise. but this is not a necessity in life. This is a luxury. And there are other things that are going to take priority in your life. And you need to make sure, as with many things in your life that you would like to spend money on, you need to make sure that the things that are most important are taken care of first. Are you taking care of your home? Doing well at your job, taking care of your home, taking care of your children if you have children, taking care of the needs of the family or of yourself. And then you can see what you have left over to spend on other things. And one of those things for me is the purchase of pipes and pipe tobacco. And at different stages of my life, I had different levels of disposable income. I'm getting a little bit older now and a little more stable to where I can make more purchases than I used to be able to comfortably. But I think I'm also more responsible with my funds than I used to be as well. So it's an interesting dynamic. But first we need to answer the question, why? Why would you want to store pipe tobacco in the first place? Because early on, I would buy some pipe tobacco and I would smoke it. And then I'd go buy some more and I'd smoke it. And my wife certainly could not ever understand why I would want to buy more pipe tobacco when I already had some that I could smoke. We don't have a wine cellar. I wish we did, but we don't have a wine cellar. We buy wine and we drink it. And then when we need some wine, or if we want some wine, then we'll go buy some more wine and we'll drink it. And that's how my wife looks at pipe smoking. That's not how I look at it. So that's been a source of conversation between the two of us many times. But there's a couple of main reasons why you want to store pipe tobacco. A few. The first one is, it's never going to be cheaper than it is today. It's just not. It always continues to go up in price. And due to continued regulations and increased taxes and whatever it may be, depending on your area of the world, it's likely never going to be less to purchase it than it will be today. So if you buy today, you have some on hand. When you're ready to open another 10, you already have it. And if you go and look at the price today, you'd be like, whoa, I'm glad I got it at the price I got it at several months or years ago. So that's one reason. Another reason is because many blends will improve over time. You see, these manufacturers, they have to sell this once they create it to make money. So, and it costs them a lot of money to store it themselves in large quantities. A lot of taxes, a lot of storage space. So they're going to create it and they're going to sell it. And it's going to be up to you, the consumer, to age it. And many pipe blends dramatically increase in quality and flavor profiles with some age. Many Virginia blends, you will see significant improvement in just a year or two. And then another big turning point maybe at year 5 or 6. Some need 10 years. And then you're like, wow, now this is great. This is exactly where it needs to be. It just needs some time to mellow out. It needs some time to meld together over time. And there can be great benefit in aging some of the pipe tobacco that you purchase. Smoking it down the road, it'll be even better than it was when you purchased it. However, before you start cellaring too deep in a particular blend, you need to know if that blend is going to improve over time, because some do not. Some actually get worse. And I don't have a list for you to say, here's the ones that age great and here's the ones that get worse. I don't have that for you to present to you. But I can say, as a general rule, that your blends that are primarily Virginia blends, particularly straight Virginias with very little toppings or casings, some Virginia Periques, these tend to age beautifully when stored properly. We're going to talk about that too. There's no use having all these tins if you're not storing them properly. If you're storing them out in some outdoor shed or in some garage that has big hot swings in the summer and big cold freezes in the winter, and your pipe tobacco is going through all this temperature fluctuation over the years, you're going to ruin your stock. You're going to ruin your stockpile. You've got to have it in a temperature-controlled environment. 65 to 75 degrees, like the inside of my house. Stays about 65 to 75 degrees year-round, depending on the time of year, how much we want to run the heat or how much we want to run the air conditioning. But it's indoors. All my stockpile is indoors, and it's temperature controlled. So I don't have to worry about those big temperature swings ruining my tobacco over time. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to these blends that may or may not age well over time. You need to know what those blends are. Because some blends, particularly aromatics, tend to struggle over time. And the reason for that is because these topping recipes, the flavorings that are added to these aromatic blends, they are created, by and large, to be great now, to taste good now. And unfortunately, as those sit for months or years, sometimes those topping recipes just don't age well. Some of them turn sour. Some of them turn almost rancid, and many of them just taste flat. They taste quiet. They don't taste as vibrant as they did when you first opened them. They don't smell as vibrant in the tin when you crack the tin. So cellaring a blend like that deep in your cellar may be disappointing 5-10 years down the road when you go to open it. Be like, well, that's not the way I remember it when it was fresh. But here's the third caveat of why you would want to cellar tins. The first one being price, the second one being because some age great over time. The third is because blends disappear. Around 2017, 2018, McClellan closed its doors forever. And all of the wonderful McClellan favorites were no longer available to purchase. And many of us mourn the fact that we did not stockpile, store those, purchase and cellar those when we had the chance. Recently, McBaron, Sutliff, the acquisition, we found out which blends were going to continue to be produced, and it was a very, very small number. And the rest of those, for now anyway, will no longer be available, and they were favorites of many. Those that took stockpiling seriously when they had the chance, they have their favorites in their cellar, and they will be able to enjoy those over the years. So that is a third reason why it is wise to cellar your favorites. So that brings us to the question, of how many should you cellar? Well, that again depends on how much disposable income you want to put into it. But I will tell you what I did. And I did this with very little disposable income when I started, and slowly grew this over time. The first goal that I had was I wanted to figure out what my favorites were. You really need to know what your favorites are, in my opinion, unless you have a lot of money to throw toward it, anything you want. You need to narrow it down to what you think you want to have on hand long term throughout your life. You need to figure out what those blends are. I have a video on how to choose the right blends for you. Go look that one up and listen to that. Go through that process. And then, hopefully you'll kind of know what your favorites are. I have about a dozen favorites, what I would call true, like, big favorites, that I really had a desire to make sure I had on hand long term, should they disappear, or to taste what they're like aged, to get them now while the prices are lower than they will be 10 years from now. So I focused on that dozen, and maybe someday I'll share what that current dozen is with you. So make sure to subscribe. Hit the like button too, by the way, if you haven't already. If you enjoy the Smoke With Me series. I'm having a little trouble keeping this lit today talking. I didn't let this dry at all, and I didn't think I would need to, but I'll just keep relighting as often as I need to. So for those dozen favorites or so, my goal was to acquire 10, the number 10, tins of those favorites. That was my initial goal. So for Capstan Gold, for example, I wanted to make sure that over time, if I couldn't afford to do it all at once, that I acquired 10 of these. These are 50-gram tins. If it was a 100-gram tin, like this old Gowrie, my goal was to acquire 5. Seemed reasonable enough. Couldn't do it all at once. But over time, that was my first goal. Now, why? Why 10? Is it just because it's an easy number to remember? No. The thought process was, if these blends were to become extinct, if they were to go out of production, I would have the ability to enjoy 1 tin per year for a decade. So in other words, Capstan Blue, for example, still in production. Smoke that as often as I want. I don't put any rationing on myself when it comes to Capstan Blue, because it's still in production. I can still purchase it. But with Capstan Gold now, we have recently found out it will not continue to be produced due to the McBaron acquirement. So I will likely limit myself to 1 tin per year. Maybe I'll smoke that entire tin in a 2-week period and enjoy it and revisit it again the next year. Maybe I will smoke that tin over the course of a month. Or maybe I will put it in a little, I don't have it out here with me, but a little ball jar, like you've seen me use many times on this channel, and just pick a little bit out of it as I want to throughout the year. But I know I will at least be able to enjoy that blend for a full decade if I use that process. That was my thought process, my thinking on it. And I've already done that with some of my McClellan favorites. No more than 1 tin per year. And I have very few of those. I probably don't even do that. I probably just smoke a quarter or half a tin of some of those favorites. So you can ration yourself out how you need to, based on what you have. After that, it really just becomes math. Because you may say, well, I want to be able to smoke more than just a single 10 every year, and I want to be able to do it for 25 years. Well, what's the math? If you want to be able to smoke Capstan Gold for 25 years, 1 10 per year, you need 25 10s instead of 10. It's just math. So figure out your math. What's your methodology? Have your own personal methodology. You don't need mine. I can just tell you what I'm doing. But what's your personal methodology? I have more than 10 10s of Capstan Gold now because I want to be able to smoke it longer if I'm fortunate enough to live longer. So just do the math. And maybe you want to smoke 2 10s a year for 25 years. 50 10s. I better get to saving, better get to purchasing if that's my methodology. Figure out your methodology. It's just math. But let me reemphasize, none of this matters if you're not storing your 10s properly. What if it's not 10s, though? What if it's bulk tobacco? Well, that would equate to about a pound for 10 10s. 10 10s of 50 grams each is 500 grams, which is roughly a pound, a little more than a pound. So if you wanted to store a bulk tobacco and you wanted 10 10s worth, it's about a pound of tobacco that you would need to purchase of that to have the same amount in your cellar. So it doesn't just work for 10s, it works for bulk tobacco too. You just have to do the math. For you, how often do you smoke? How often do you want to smoke it over the years? I haven't talked too much about pairings on this channel yet, but I love to pair Virginia with green tea. I got a lot of comments on my potential health issues of pipe smoking video, which has gained a lot of views, by the way. Thank you. And I think has been very well received overall. May have been what got me completely demonetized, so you should go look that up. I'm never taking it down, though. They'll have to take it down themselves. That video, I'm so proud of that video, and I'm so thankful that it's there for the community. And I believe every word of it. So, smoke with me, health risks video, interesting to listen to. But I really enjoy green tea with my Virginia blends. And some of you may be asking, well, why, Kevin, are you smoking Virginia when it's so cold and you're wearing a warm hat? And I enjoy Virginia blends year round, so that's my wheelhouse. But what I was going to say about the health risk video is that in that video, I drink a Java Monster energy drink. And many of you in the comments said, that energy drink will get you way before the pipe smoking will. I think you're probably right. You guys bring me a lot of joy. I appreciate you watching my content. I hope it's helpful to you over time. And we're going to continue. We're not going to let anything stop us. There's just no use being discouraged in the things you cannot control in life. You just have to decide how you're going to react to it. It's fine. It's totally fine. Honestly, this content is here for you. And it's here, hopefully, over the long term to help pipe smokers, future pipe smokers, those who want to continue doing this in spite of all the obstacles today that are surrounding it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to press on. This Capstan Gold, for example, this tastes like a completely different blend than it did when I cracked one fresh. I mean, the age really improves this blend. Really does. That's a great benefit of purchasing and then letting them sit properly. how to cellar pipe tobacco 2-part series. Make sure you watch that. That'll help you. And as long as you're doing that, then you can purchase as much as you have the ability to purchase and store it and enjoy it for years and years to come, even when these things happen. One thing that a commenter told me recently was, hey, Kevin, would you have a smoke with me video and just put people's mind at ease about this STG McBaron Sutliff situation and make sure everybody knows it's going to be okay? Well, I may not dedicate a video to that. If you haven't seen the community post, though, that I made about all that, make sure you see the community tab, because I made several posts about it there with my thoughts as it was happening in real time. And it is going to be okay. And this won't be the last time that something like this happens. It's business. Business decisions are made. They are outside of our control. Like it or not, it is what it is. And you can choose how to react to that. You can say, well, I'm not going to support any of that, and I'm just going to go support Cornell and Deal. You can do that. Or you can say, well, that's a shame. I need to make sure that I get a hold of the blends that I can get a hold of now before they completely disappear, because I know it's coming. And that's what many of us did. But it's business. And it's beyond our control. It's beyond my control. So I know what my favorites are, and I'm committed to those favorites. And I'm going to try to make sure that I have enough of those on hand. But we've been through this before. And yes, it's not fun, and it's disappointing. But you move on, and there are other blends out there to enjoy, and there are other favorites to explore. I feel like I've smoked more pipe blends than most people on the planet probably have, and I still feel like I've just scratched the surface as to what's out there. So there's always going to be more out there to explore, and you will find your favorites and ones that you can continue to purchase today. Will they decrease and continue to decrease over time? Probably, because cigars rule the world, and other things rule the world when it comes to smoking. So probably they will probably continue to diminish over time, but I don't know that for sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I wouldn't get too discouraged. Remember to appreciate what you have and to be proactive in obtaining what you can obtain when you can obtain it. So to wrap up this particular topic, I think you should acquire as many as you think you would need over the course of your life, based on kind of how long you think you might want to do this. And if you end up deciding for health reasons down the road, or for just change of lifestyle or whatever, that you do not want to be a part of this activity anymore, very rarely will your stockpile have decreased in value. In fact, it probably has increased greatly in value, and you will be able to find ways to offload that stockpile for a profit. Or if not, there will still be many of people out there that will give you a fair price, and or you'll have opportunities to bestow gifts to others from that stockpile that you purchased. But I don't think you'll have any issue whatsoever if you stored them properly and kept them sealed, and in getting a return on that investment, so to speak, in the future for many blends. I know that many of the blends that are going away currently in this situation we've been talking about, those particular tins will likely increase in value relatively quickly, especially the ones that were more popular that are not going to be made anymore. So I think you would be able to get your money back for many of your purchases. So I wouldn't hesitate to purchase some to have on hand in the future, just in case those favorites do go away, which happens and will continue to happen. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've been able to relax and let's look forward to some warmer weather soon and some more videos down the road. Until we talk again, go enjoy some good food, good drink, and a good pipe.